I've read over 50 books in the past year, but these 7 have had the biggest impact on my life. These are the books that helped me chase my dream on Wall Street and also the ones that helped me walk away. Inside of all these 7 books, there's one I'll share that has had the biggest impact on my life. So watch until the end because I will reveal it. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Marielle. At 22, I got everything I thought I wanted. A 6-figure salary, a Wall Street job working for Goldman Sachs, and living the dream in New York City. So let's get into the video. The first book is called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. This one I read like a few weeks ago, and the fact that it made it on this list, I've read so many books in my life, like 50 plus that I've actually tracked, but before I started tracking the books that I read, I now keep like Word document of all the books I've read. But before that, I've read so many, I just don't remember them or like don't have them recorded. And this one I read a few weeks ago, and the fact that it's on this list is like pretty substantial because a lot of these books are some that I've had since I was 16 or something that really had an impact on my life. But this book is like a must read. This one, if you're struggling, you're judging yourself, or you think that you need to be a certain way, it's like, just read this and like 80% of your problems will make sense. Okay, book number 2 is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Michael Singer is incredible. He basically grew up in Florida and sort of rejected modern day things and started meditating in the woods for a long time, and then eventually built $1 billion business. So I love the story that he shares in this book because he basically is talking about how like things would just keep popping up and coming into his life. And when he surrendered to what was happening in front of him, life kind of just unfolded for him. And I think it's a really good lesson in just learning to let go and learning to just allow things to happen. It reminds me a lot about how when I was sitting in New York at Goldman, I had this feeling of like, I knew I was always meant to be here. Like weirdly enough, life was always gonna find the way to get me to this place, to learn the things that I needed to learn. And I just think knowing that lesson and then seeing it come to life through someone's full story essentially, and kind of just made me calm down a lot and just realize that like life is happening for you, and more than that, like life just unfolds in ways that you never know. And sometimes when you get everything you wanted, you do feel that emptiness inside. I know that well. So it's kind of just letting go of life and just letting it happen to you and for you. And I love this book. The third book is The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. I actually don't have this one on me. I read it when I lived in Paris, and it was this was like a fun time. The book itself is like not fun because it's very deep and it's very healing and kind of just goes down to like the root cause of a lot of problems in our lives and why we might feel certain ways, especially when it comes to like childhood experiences and like coming to the present moment and examining and analyzing like what happened and why you might feel the way you feel. I love this book because I think before I read it, I didn't have the understanding that I have about myself now. It's a really hefty book. I think it's like 400, maybe 500 pages. And I didn't end up bringing it home with me because I didn't have space in my suitcase, so I gave it away before I left. It was definitely a time where I went through a lot of healing and just really experienced emotions I hadn't really let myself process yet. So that book is deep. If you're ready to go deep, then it's probably the perfect one for you. Book number 4. This is a fiction book, which is very funny because I'm a nonfiction girly. I love reading books about life. I love improving my life. I love finding new ways of being, like mostly from what you've seen of me, like kinder, softer ways of being. This book is called In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. I hope I'm saying that right. I actually now believe that we learn best through stories, and nonfiction is great, but you're almost holding a magnifying glass up to your life and kind of like analyzing and dissecting like every part of your life. But having a fiction book where I'm examining my life almost from like a third-party perspective, like not realizing at the end of the book that I felt like it was going to change my life, really was profound for me. So I used to knock on fiction books, but I think that if you find a fiction book that speaks to you, it's your book, you know, like it was meant for you and it found you. And in this book, essentially, this girl has everything she wants. And she has like the dream boyfriend. I think she's like a top lawyer in New York City. She lives in Gramercy Park. And when I was living in New York City, I lived in Gramercy Park. And I just felt like it was so synonymous with my life and kind of like showing me basically a mirror up to myself of like, is this really the life I want? And this girl goes through this whole process of just getting everything she wants. She gets engaged to this dream guy that she wanted, and she's like happy but not, and she doesn't know why. But what it made me realize is that we actually have both sides of this in ourselves. Like, I am both the responsible, wanting to get everything right girl, as much as I am the wild child that wants to like mess everything up and have a good time. Like, I don't care. So I feel that those personalities exist within me, both of them. And it was interesting to see sort of like the path of life and like how it goes when you lean on one versus the other. So that book genuinely changed my life. And I feel like I'm not alone in this. I'm sure there's some of you who also have like a fiction book that changed your life, because even though they're just stories that are made up, they really are relatable to life. And everything is relatable to life, but these stories just can teach us things that you almost can't unsee. Book number 5 is Your Erroneous Zones by Wayne Dyer. I love Wayne Dyer. You may have heard me mention him before. And this book is really all about identifying limiting beliefs. And what he says is it's a step-by-step advice for escaping the trap of negative thinking and taking control of your life. It basically tackles all of your blind spots, erroneous zones, kind of the same thing. And things like procrastination, things like, thinking, overdoing, and really just sort of goes through each one and just tells you reasons why that happens, and then just tells you why it's not true. And it's really about behaviors, like what self-destructive behaviors are you repeating in yourself, and kind of getting to the root cause of those problems so that you can go after the things you want, because these things are getting in your way. It definitely helped me get into the present moment, like just realizing I can't change the past, and like I shouldn't really be worrying about the future. That's what I would say a lot of these books did for me, is just like identifying weak spots or blind spots and bringing my awareness to them so that I can change them or improve them or just love myself. So this is definitely a book that's part of that. I also just love Wayne Dyer, so one of his books had to be in here because I have read a few of them, but this one definitely changed my life for the better. Book number 6. This one is a classic, okay, in my opinion. This is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. I read this when I was 19. It completely changed my life. In all honesty, I felt like it saved my life. Like, I don't think I was going down a path emotionally or mentally that was really good for me at the time. And I just really needed to take ownership and responsibility. And part of me needed to kind of create a new life for myself, because I think in high school, I just struggled with certain things, and I just kind of locked myself away and studied all the time because that made me happy. But then I sort of missed out on certain experiences, and I didn't really know how to communicate my emotions or my feelings at the time. So this actually helped with a lot of that. It helped me gain my confidence back. It helped me rediscover who I really am. And I think what I liked about this, although I'm not really a rule follower, is I liked that it gave me a structure of rules that I could follow that could potentially improve my future. And I think this is the best book that he's written. Book number 7. We made it. This was so much fun. I love reading. And I am ready to reveal the book, which has changed it all for me. Awareness. I made a video about this book, which you can watch, and this book has completely changed my life. I'm actually in the midst of rereading it right now, and I just can't say enough about this book. Like, I was given this book by a partner at Goldman Sachs, and he had sold his company to Goldman for just under $1 billion. And I sort of was asking him about like starting your own thing and what that's like. And he basically was like, you need to read this book first, like before you do anything. And I completely agree with him. Like, this is the only book that really matters in my opinion. If you don't have awareness, you really don't have nothing. So this is my only book I'll ever recommend. It's the best book I've ever read in my entire life. And everyone I recommend it to says it completely changes their life and the way that they see life. So this is the final book. This is the only one I'll ever recommend. The other ones are top tier and amazing, but this is number 1. And if you want to watch my video on awareness and how to build self-awareness, you can watch that video here. That's my all-time favorite book, my all-time favorite lesson in life that I've learned, and it's one that I know I'll be taking with me for the rest of my life. And if you've read a book that changed your life, please tell me in the comments. I would love to know. I'm always looking for recommendations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching.